Hello and welcome to the Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our full review of the Nike Pegasus Plus. Before we dive into the details on the shoe, I want to say thank you to Sports Shoes for providing the review sample for this review. We're not linked to Sports Shoes in any way, and as always this is our completely unbiased review, but I was struggling to get hold of the shoe and Sports Shoes came through with a review sample so we could get to testing the shoe, so a big thank you to them. So the Pegasus Plus is the return of the Nike Pegasus Turbo, and it really is the return of the Pegasus Turbo, as we'll go on to in the run test. Pegasus Turbo is one of the earliest examples of super trainers that used brands' top racing foams in a daily trainer. It disappeared for a few years, came back in slightly iffy form with the Nike Pegasus Turbo Next to Nature, which used recycled ZoomX. You've got proper ZoomX foam in the Pegasus Plus, and you've got a better shoe all round that is a lot more like the Pegasus Turbo, although now competing in a very different marketplace that is full of these super trainers. It costs £165 or $180. It weighs in at 257 grams or 9 ounces in my UK size 9, and you've got a 10mm drop from heel to toe. Don't know the exact stack height, but you're looking to mid to upper 30s at the heel, I would say. So when it comes to design, it's a pretty simple one all round. Like Nike has kept it nice and simple with the Pegasus Plus. You've got that big ZoomX midsole. It's a full ZoomX midsole. There's no mixing of foams like there was with the original Pegasus Turbo, which had some React foam underneath ZoomX. It's all ZoomX in there. You've got a fly-knit upper with a bit of padding and structure around the heel, but a pretty minimal tongue. It's not necessarily the most breathable upper, I would say, especially with the big stripe that closes off some of the holes you have around it, but it's a pretty solid upper all round. Then you've got a rubber outsole with pretty good coverage at the forefoot and heel. Bit of exposed foam in the midfoot there, but that shouldn't make too much of a difference when it comes to durability. Comes to the fit of the Pegasus Plus, I am all good in my normal running shoe size. I've got a UK 9 here, which is a US 10. It's a size I've used for pretty much every Nike shoe I've ever tested, and it fits me perfectly well. Good amount of room in the toe box, good hold around the heel and midfoot without any kind of unpleasant rubbing or Achilles bothering at the back of the shoe. So yeah, I would say stick to your normal running shoe size, the size you've used of other Nike shoes, and you should get on very well with the Pegasus Plus. So I've run around 65k in the Nike Pegasus Plus, doing a mix of training runs, a fair bit of easy running. I've done a longer run of around 15 miles and some faster stuff as well, some easy steady progression runs, some more flat out speed stuff as well. And all round, I have really enjoyed running in this shoe. It is certainly, I think, Nike's best daily trainer, the best Nike daily trainer we've had in a long time, an upgrade on the standard Pegasus, and just an enjoyable shoe to use, and one that does remind me of the original Pegasus Turbo, which has been a few years now since we ran in that shoe properly. I think I did bring it out last year or whenever the Pegasus Turbo Nature came out, but you have got a similar feeling to that shoe, which is say you've got a reasonably high drop shoe. It's not the squishiest in the world, but pretty comfortable, responsive, that do-it-all feeling, and you get that with the Pegasus Plus for sure. So it has quite a traditional ride feel, I'd say, for sure. It's also, slightly firmer, I'd say, than a lot of other shoes out there at the moment. In general, the movement in these kind of super trainers or souped up daily trainers is to have a slightly lower drop, a very pronounced rocker, softer foams, dual density foams. Don't really have that with the Pegasus Plus. It's got that quite traditional 10mm drop. You feel that drop and the thinner forefoot on the shoe for sure. As a heel striker, I snap through quite a lot with the shoe as opposed to the slightly more smoothed out ride I get with lower drop shoes all round, and none of that is really overall to the shoe's detriment. I think it's just a different ride feel. So I'm well used to those rocket shoes now. They're probably my preference, but if you do like that kind of traditional feeling in a shoe, you'll get it in the Pegasus Plus. And if you're looking at shoes and enjoying shoes like the classic Pegasus 41, then you're going to get a similar feeling, but with better materials, a better foam, and a more lightweight shoe with a Pegasus Plus. Moving at easy paces and steady paces, I think it's got a really nice ride. As I said, it's not the softest shoe in the world. I think the ZoomX foam here feels a bit firmer and more responsive than the foam on something like the Nike Invincible, and it doesn't even feel as soft as the foam, the ZoomX foam on the racing shoes. I think it's been maybe tweaked a little bit to be a bit more stable, and this does have quite a stable feel for a big high stack of ZoomX foam. But you're getting responsiveness for sure. Like, I found it easy to go through the gears in this shoe on an easy to steady progression run, like moving down from an easy pace, like I say, down towards my marathon pace, and it felt like I could do that quite comfortably in this shoe. I think if I was pushing beyond that or working at race paces for a longer period, that's when I think the shoe doesn't quite as excel as some of the other super trainers out there. I think it is a bit slappy then, wouldn't be as comfortable or as responsive as a shoe with a plate or maybe slightly springier foams underfoot. But for all those easy and steady paced runs, classic daily training runs, it does them really well. It does feel nice and comfortable underfoot. And when I went out and did 15 miles on the shoe, I was interested to see if I did get any kind of discomfort under the forefoot, because it is a bit thinner there than lots of shoes, but that wasn't the case at all. Did that 50 miles at a pretty relaxed pace, but not flat out easy, like I wasn't just plodding along. And yeah, the shoe felt comfortable and felt very similar throughout the run. It's got a consistency, the foam here, where it's quite resilient, this ZoomX. It's not going to bottom out at all. You're going to get the same nice level of bounce throughout that run. And yeah, it feels comfortable and good. I have only done about 65k in the shoe, so maybe the ZoomX will soften up a bit over time, but I think it's been pitched quite well, the foam. It might not feel as amazing out of the box as some people might expect from a ZoomX shoe, but for a daily trainer that you need to have a bit of stability, you need to have durability and be able to handle a range of paces, I think the midsole is well judged. It's a nice, well-balanced material. I haven't had any concerns with the upper throughout my run test, but the outsole I've had a couple of slippery moments, I would say, on it. I don't think it's necessarily bad in terms of grip. I've been okay on some wet trails and canal towpaths as well as on wet roads, but it is a shoe where you're going to have to look out for things like drain covers on pavements and that kind of thing. I do think it doesn't grip that well on those compared to some other shoes in its category that use better materials like Puma Grip or Adidas's Continental shoes. Like it's not a brilliant outsole, but at the same time, I don't think it's a major concern if you're just using it on pretty normal roads. So I had a good run test with the Nike Pegasus Plus. It's a shoe I enjoyed running in. I'd be happy just to use it for lots and lots of daily training, but I wouldn't necessarily be ecstatic when I was looking at the other shoes out there and comparing them to the Pegasus Plus. I do think there are shoes out there that I prefer to this shoe, and a lot of that is down to ride feel, but also I think you're going to get a slightly higher level of performance from some of the other super trainers or trainers around its price out there. As I mentioned at the start, it's quite a different world to when the original Pegasus Turbo came out, and it was kind of in a league of its own. There wasn't really a lot of shoes like it out there, and now there just is. Like, loads of brands are making these kinds of shoes because they're very popular. They do lots of things. They don't have to be as expensive as plated shoes, racing shoes in particular, but they are really fun to run in, and Pegasus Plus fits into that category quite well. I do think it offers something that's a little bit different to lots of other shoes out there because of the more traditional ride, the higher drop, the fairly simple and, like I say, traditional feel of the shoe, but it's not a feeling that I would prefer over some of the other shoes you can get for around its price. When you look at that price, immediately a couple of shoes come to mind that I have loved all this year and have been testing again lately. If you're looking at super trainers, do-it-all shoes, these use plates, but you have the Hoka Mach X2, which is a bit cheaper, I think, in the UK, and then the Endorphin Speed 4 is a bit cheaper in the US. Both of those are slightly more versatile all-round shoes. They're certainly faster than the Pegasus Plus, and they feel pretty good at easy paces as well, and just getting a higher performance level there from those shoes. And if you're looking at that super trainer for general daily training runs, there's the Mizuno Neo Vista, which is a bit cheaper, and that is just fantastically bouncy and soft and really fun underfoot and has a smoother, more rocketed ride. And I probably prefer those shoes to the Pegasus Plus. And if you don't want to use plated shoes, I think there are shoes that match it, that come in a bit cheaper, that I'd use and enjoy just as much, like the Hoka Mach 6, which has that more rocketed feeling, the Balance Rebel V4, the Asics Nova Blast 4. Like, these are all just really good shoes that actually don't stand out so much these days as maybe the Pegasus Turbo did in those days, because there are so many good shoes around, and something like the Hoka Mach 6, I think, is just a really great, consistent trainer, lightweight daily trainer you can use for everything. I'd use the Pegasus Plus 4, and I prefer the more rocketed ride you have with the Hoka. If you look at the way this kind of plateless super trainer area of the market has developed, this year we've got the Asics Super Blast 2 and the New Balance Balos, both of which are just amazing shoes that I would prefer to use over the Pegasus Plus for a bit of everything, really. And although they are a little bit more expensive, they are pretty fantastic shoes. I think they deliver a slightly more interesting and unique experience on the foot. Pegasus Plus feels good, but it's not necessarily really a wow shoe, and you can't get those wow shoe these days, and if you want a wow feeling, go get a wow shoe. In the Nike range though, I do think it stands out for sure. It is a clear upgrade, I think, on the Pegasus 41, and I would pay the extra to get this shoe because you have got a lighter, more responsive, more enjoyable shoe to run in, really, for any kind of run, I'd say. And I know the Pegasus 41 comes in cheaper. If you're looking at the list price, I would make the upgrade to the Pegasus Plus. If you can find the Pegasus 41, half price in one of the sales it's always in, then maybe it's a different conversation, but this is an upgrade on that shoe, and I think it is Nike's best daily trainer, and the best daily trainer they've had for a while, actually. So definitely it's a good shoe, one I enjoyed running in, a shoe that Nike needed in the range, but there are shoes out there that I would prefer to pick up ahead of the Pegasus Plus. But if you like that traditional feeling of shoes like the Pegasus, but want it in a slightly better shoe with a better foam, you definitely have it now with the Pegasus Plus. That's our review of the Nike Pegasus Plus. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please do like and subscribe, ring the little bell. Thanks again to Sports Shoes for sorting out the sample of the shoe. And yeah, we'll see you again on the Run Testers.